Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific Northwest, from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
The heckin' Mariners, man.
The heckin' Mariners. Sorry for flubbing up the intro. We had a little bit of a layoff between recording sessions due to life events and people falling ill. But don't worry, we are back and better than ever. Some of us more than others. But before we tell you about the heckin' Mariners, why don't I tell you a little bit about us? If you're looking for a guy that will be a beacon of hope for the rest of this Mariners stretch, like Michael Penix to the Washington Huskies, maybe you're
Yes, sir.
looking for a guy like me, BPE, Big Penix Energy. That's me, your boy, Coach Red. You can find me on Twitter, the app formerly known as Twitter. It's now X, at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red. Also, find us over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, leave a comment or two. And while you're at it, follow the podcast page on Twitter and Insta at Coach Red Pod. Follow us. Do it, freaking do it. And if you're looking for someone that's a little bit more Freddy Krueger, maybe a little bit of the boogeyman, because he's going to try and take away your hopes and dreams while talking about the Mariners for this episode, maybe you're looking for a guy like Cain.
I'm Kane. You can find me on Twitter at Kane2406, on YouTube at Kane06, TikTok and Kick Kane0624.
And kick. What are you kicking around?
You know,
Are you just kicking it with Coach Red? Boom.
Soccer balls mostly. So,
Sweet. Yeah, you can also find me on TikTok at the real Coach Red.
that's true. I used to run the show's TikTok and then that kind of fell through and I got lazy.
Still
So,
up, and only one person makes little TikTok clips, and that's me, your boy, Coach Red. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Mariners. So the Mariners, after their historic month of August, have not fared so hot during September. Started off with a bad road trip against a couple of National League teams and the Rays, and it hasn't gotten much better. They have done some work right before this last stretch against Houston, Texas. Came with a sweep against the A's on the road to come home, and all the publicity was coming out the last 10 days. You know, this will decide the season. Last 10 games, we're ready. Haven't looked ready. Come out against the Rangers and get swept at home. Or no, that was on the
no, it was on the road and they tried to make it interesting with a comeback.
Every game they had the winning run to the plate in every game.
Yeah.
Which is a lot better than their games against Texas early in the season.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate to see with so much on the line, them kind of fall through. And as you said, you know, they didn't have the best September. Everybody seemed to kind of cool off. Julio got a little cooler. It's just been unfortunate.
Let's look at this. They get out of the Texas series getting swept, but our good friends, the Kansas City Royals, did some work and swept Houston. So the Mariners came into their series against Houston only a half game behind Houston. But the one thing that I do want to say is screw you, Dusty Baker, you jerk, because the way that the starting rotation was set to go, Justin Verlander was supposed to pitch the last game in Kansas City, but he did not. He ends up throwing against the Mariners for the first time this year and does what Justin Verlander typically does against the Mariners and straight shoves. And you know what, Dusty Baker? I hope that you twist your ankle.
Got him.
I don't want to cause serious harm, but I want you to feel a little uncomfortable.
That's
And he's
fair.
an older guy. It could hurt a little bit, but yeah, twist that ankle, dude. Please, for me. But let's talk about some hypothetical stuff where we're at right now. So as we sit here today, the Mariners realistically don't have a great shot at the division anymore. unless they win out. And they need a little help from the Angels to be able to take the division. But going in today, they're 4 back at Texas, and they're a game and a half behind Texas. The Rangers hold the tiebreaker over the Mariners. The Mariners hold the tiebreaker over Houston. Houston holds the tiebreaker over the Rangers. It's real cool. So basically, if the Rangers end up as the top team and the Mariners and Houston are tied for, let's say, the last playoff spot, Mariners will make it in and the Houston Astros will miss the playoffs.
Which is the most ideal situation that anybody could hope for because nobody wants Houston in the postseason.
I don't
Nobody
think
wants them.
I don't even think some people in Houston want it anymore. I think they're a little over it.
I can agree, but just like the Phillies last year, nobody wanted to play them, and Houston is always
They're dangerous.
they're October baseball ready all the time, especially when it hits postseason time. Uh, um, and the best chance is knock them out. Let's go.
Yep. So ideally, what you really need to see happen is the Mariners, if they win tonight and win tomorrow, that puts them a half game ahead of the Rangers. And the Mariners would start play against, or the Astros, sorry. Then they start play against the Rangers on Thursday while Houston has an off day. Houston is also going to play the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are currently sitting in a tie for the last wild card spot. So they're going to be pumping guys, and they're a relatively young team that wasn't really meant to be at this spot at this point in their timeline. Probably next year was kind of their window. So
Yeah.
even if they do get eliminated as we go down the stretch, I don't think they're really going to be resting guys. And for sake of sanity and not trying to live on pins and needles, I want Texas to just win a couple of games so then that way they clinch the division and start sitting players against the Mariners. But hey, the Dodgers did it. Didn't help the Mariners at all that day.
Yeah. But there is a golden chance that the Mariners can make it, and try to stay hopeful out here.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I mean, there's always a chance.
Not for every team, but there's a chance for a handful. And the Mariners are one of them. And I think this is you've been seeing everyone at high, everyone loving the Mariners. And then as the slide of September has started, a lot of discourse, especially on social media. There's a lot of people that are very upset. The Mariners have not been playing well on the field, and it's been frustrating. There have been some bright spots. There have been some obvious guys that have regressed a little bit, but for this stretch and hopefully a playoff run, you're going to need some guys to step up and you're going to need some guys to step out of some prominent positions. So, Kane, let's start with the doom and gloom because that's where you just love wallowing in the
I
filth
just
of
I
all the
just lived there,
negativity.
dude. I just lived there.
Who is one player you feel needs to step out a little bit, maybe get a reset, and maybe not see as much time as these last six games are being played?
Dominic Canzone. Um,
You can do
he
one. We'll do one position player a piece, and then one pitcher a piece.
copy. Yeah. Dominic Canzone had a good last game against the Athletics for that sweep. I believe he hit a home run to
That ball
center.
was way gone.
There was. He smashed it,
It was
got
to
a
right. That
double,
ball sounded different.
but outside of that, doesn't seem like he's doing a whole lot. I also think he's a liability in the field as well. Um, and I think they need guys like, that have been producing, especially in the outfield with the resurgence of Kelenic. It just kind of makes sense. One guy's producing, the other's not. So, Coach Red, who's your player?
it's tough. It's kind of my corner infielders. I'm gonna roll them into one. Um, you really need them to hit the gas pedal. The tough thing is Ty France is still playing a pretty good first base, and over the course of the last couple of weeks, he doesn't have the worst batting average. I think he's clocking in. If you include yesterday's game, it drops it, but I saw it before the game. He was batting 286 in September. Doesn't feel like 286 because he's not getting very many extra base hits right now. He's been thrown out at the plate a couple times. He's not driving in runs either, and that's going to be the tough thing. And he's had a couple of clutch opportunities where he has fizzled, and he hasn't done well in those opportunities. The other thing that's tougher is Gino. Gino hasn't hit that stretch where he's been hot for a week. And
Yeah.
that's what you need. He's a very boomer bust type player. When he's hot, there's not very many people that are hotter. He's hitting the ball all over the park with power and pop. But you can't discount his defense. The dude's playing gold glove caliber defense this entire year.
Yeah.
And Ty France isn't at that same level that he was, his first full year at first base, aka last year. But they're both good there. The problem is I don't necessarily want to see Mike Ford getting a ton of at bats. I think he's perfect in the spot he's at, where he's getting these spot clutch at bats coming through in the clutch. You can match him up, lefty righty, and what are you going to do with Gino? I'm not playing Jose Caballero right now at their base. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. I like
Right.
Cabby, but I can't do it. It's almost like you need the Mariners to get up big in a game and take both those guys out for the rest of the game and just give them some time. Give them some time. Let them watch the game a little bit because these guys have been in almost
Every
every
single
single
day.
game. Like
Yeah.
Gino's been played in every single game, and Ty France has played in most games. Like
Yep. Yeah.
98%.
Yep. I like that. As you said, like with Ty France, like man, it doesn't seem like he's hitting like that. It does not. Uh, and it's just, it's been rough out here on these streets.
All right. Pitcher needs to step out a little bit.
Pitcher, I think that it is Bryce Miller. Um,
I want a caveat. You can't really pick a starter because they all
oh,
have to go right now. You kind of
copy.
have to look at the relievers. Hey, Bryce Miller, we don't need you to start tomorrow in a critical game.
You
We're
know
going
what?
bullpen day.
All right,
Come
all
on.
right.
He can't
Bullpen.
step out. He can't go anywhere. He's locked and ready
Um,
to rock for tomorrow.
I okay. Um, I haven't been paying attention too much. Andres Munoz. God damn it! Whenever Andres Munoz comes into a game, I get worried.
It's
I
like the
get.
Fernando Rodney experience all over again.
I am. I'm dropping it. I'm fucking terrified when he's on the mound. All right, like this dude had such a bad stretch of blowing every save, especially on that road trip at the beginning of the month. Like he's a liability.
I think that you need to change all your handles to Kane, but put an E at the end, like the explicit E.
Hey, that's I haven't dropped one on an episode for a while.
We
All
haven't
right.
recorded for a while.
Hey, even before that, I think the last F bomb was you.
Yeah, I know. This is a good one.
So
It was for
you know
dramatic
what?
effect.
I just think Andres Munoz, like, yeah, I get he's young. I understand that. But man, he is just falling out of grace for me. He really has. What about you, Coach Red?
For me, right now it's Gabe Spire. Gabe Spire was on fire through the middle of the season. I think the Mariners have three guys that are on track to hit 70 appearances on the year. Gabe Spire, Justin Topa, and Matt Brash. Topa's had his struggles as well a little bit more recently. Matt Brash has kind of picked up back to form like we know him. But with Gabe Spire, he's coming in as your lefty special. And he's been giving up some dingers to lefties. And solo homers don't hurt you typically. Where they do
Most
hurt
more
you is
times
late
than
in
not.
games. And when you have Spire coming in, it's usually in a higher leverage situation where you need to get those outs. He hasn't been
Mm-hmm.
as clutch as he was mid year, where he was lights out every time he came in. I was just 1, 2, 3. He's picked it up a little bit the last couple of games that he's appeared in, but it's been a little bit of a bumpier road with some of those guys that were performing so well in the bullpen for a majority of the season, where it's making it a little bit more difficult. All right. Who do you need to step up as a position player?
Step up as a position player. I'm gonna go with Jared Kelenic. Um, you know,
September Kelnick.
yeah, yeah. Um, he came back from the injury, and I've not been disappointed. I don't think he's been getting many extra base hits, but base hits all in the same. It's great to see that he's finally getting back into it. And in the Texas series, the dude was hitting left and right. Honestly, he had that 2 RBI day. I think he went 2 for 5 or 3 for 5 that day, and he drew a walk. I'm pretty sure. But I just think down this little stretch here, especially with the rest of Houston and Texas, he kind of needs to come through for him. He's batting in the 5 hole tonight, and I think that's a good spot for him. So I need Kelenic to keep on doing what he's doing, honestly, and provide for the team.
I
What
need to
about you,
go
Coach Red?
for that to piggyback on there. I need the power back a little bit with Kelnick. That's the step up we need. He's making good contact. He's getting on base. There was a game against Texas where he was on base every single time. He was on base 5 times in the game. Didn't score a run in that game. And that was a little bit of Ty Francis' fault. But I'm going to do what I did before because I'm going to pick a starter and a bench player because I make the rules. The starter that I need to step up is Julio Rodriguez. And he's cooled a little bit, but I've said this. You've heard me say it. It's on like a broken record on here. When Julio Rodriguez is right, this team is right. When Julio Rodriguez is peppering the ball, look at September. The dude batted over 400 in the month of September, plastering the ball everywhere, making gold glove plays in center. And guess what happened? Boatload of wins.
That was August.
Boatload. Yeah, that's what I meant. But as he goes, the Mariners go. And that's what you need. You need him to take a prominent role. You need to see a big play because it's like the snowball effect. It's just going to keep getting larger and larger rolling down that hill. The other guy that I need to see step up is my boy Dylan Moore, Demo, baby, because the one thing that he gives you, you need someone to spell Ty France. Dylan Moore can do that. You need someone to bat against a lefty. Dylan Moore can do that. You need someone to spell Gino. Well, guess what? Dylan Moore can do that. What position do you want to play? He's not going to catch and he's not going to pitch. He can play every other position on the field for you. He's an above average defender at all of those positions. His worst is probably first base. But let's be
Yeah,
honest, first base isn't the most difficult position to play. So I need Dylan Moore because what we're missing right now is that bench guy that's getting some starts down the course of the season that we've seen the last couple of years. Last year it was Sam Haggerty, and I think that kind of hurt them once they hit the playoffs with Sam being hurt because he was such that spark plug. The year before, it was a little bit of Dylan Moore. Mitch Haniger was carrying the team, but Kelnick was kind of the unknown at the time and lit up September. So Dylan Moore, I think, has the capability to be that guy. And
yeah,
he's going to be a guy that he's going to be one of the first guys that Scott turns to as the game progresses when they need to make a replacement, unless you've got like a righty coming in where you're going to go after, Mike Ford to try and put one over the fence.
yeah. I also want to take a second to praise our Lord. Luis Torrens is back on the squad.
You're not doing too bad.
He's not doing too bad. I just wanted to take a second since I'm pretty sure the last episode that we had
It was when
we
he signed
talked.
the minor league contract.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to praise be Luis Torrens back on the big squad.
All right. Prediction time.
Copy.
Do the Mariners make the playoffs?
Yes. Yes, they do.
A resounding yes from Kane.
Um, no matter how much like negativity I have towards them right now, I still want them to make the playoffs. I think they can. I think if they win tonight, they can. It shifts momentum in the right direction. Um, it's just such a tough end to the season facing Texas, Houston, Texas. I think they can prevail. They've done it before. I think they are one for the theatrics. Honestly, let's get it done. And I really think this team can rally around and get it done. Coach Red, what do you think?
I agree with you that it comes down to tonight. I think if they win this game, you're gonna see. I believe it's Bryce Miller on the bump tomorrow. I believe it's Bryce. If they win tonight, I could see Bryce Miller coming out because he did well in Houston. His
Yep.
last start against Houston. He's from the area, and I could see a Kirby-esque start in the playoffs against Houston. The weight of his shoulder, this is a team that'll hunt the fastball, play a little bit more with it outside of the zone, even though they're not the most chase team, but he gets a ton of swing and miss on the fastball, even when it is in the zone. I think that he could go 7 strong, give up 0 to 1 runs, and really turn the tide and really get the train rolling for
Yeah.
Texas. I think that the key is with the Astros. That's going to be your biggest competition, you knew. And to beat the best, you got to take it.
Yeah.
You have to take these games. Houston is the reigning World Series champion, and the only way to get them out is to take it. And there's no better way to take it than taking these last 2 games and having
And
a
potentially
year where
booting
you
them out of
lost
the
3 times,
yeah.
3 times to Houston.
Yeah, it really put a statement on the season, and it really put the whole like league on blast if Houston's not in the playoffs this year, and that's the most ideal situation to be honest. I mean, somebody else has got to win if they're not there.
Yeah.
So I'm literally fine with anybody else winning it, even if it's Texas. I don't care as long as it's not Houston.
And the thing is, I feel like with the Mariners this year, they're either going to continue to slide and miss the playoffs, or they're going to get August hot and win the whole damn thing.
And
I
be
don't think, I think if the Mariners make the playoffs, you heard it here first. I think they're making the World Series.
yeah.
If the Mariners make the playoffs, I think they make the World Series.
There's got to be one team like that every postseason. Last year was Philly. This year it's the freaking Mariners.
They just got to make it. You got to be invited to the dance.
That's true. That's true.
And they're close. And coming out in this game right now, George Kirby gets into a little bit of trouble. He has not been pitching well the last month or so, and gets himself out of a jam. It's going to be a tough, tall task for the bullpen today because he got up to 25 pitches through the first inning, and Javier just finished the second inning at around 26 pitches. So there's going to be a big pitch count discrepancy. Houston's got a fresh bullpen because only one reliever was used last night. So it is time to go take it. And the Mariners can do it. We can address the shortcomings. We can address everything else when the season is over. But if you were hopeful when they were 500, when they were playing terrible to start the season, if you were hopeful when they had their stride, when they had the amazing August, and if you've been with them through the downturn that September has been, you've got to be there. You've got to continue to send the good vibes out there because they've sold out the last 3 games of the season. There's limited tickets available for tomorrow and for Thursday. They've been packing the house, and the Mariners have not been responding well when the house has been packed. But it's time.
Yeah.
Pull your heads out of your asses. It's time to go. Go.
Yeah, they've
go
talked
do the damn thing.
They've talked about being ready for the playoffs all year long. Last year happened. Show us with your actions, not your fucking words. I'm you know what? I'm sorry. All right. But they need
Unbelievable.
to and Julio just needs to be the front man, and he needs to kind of get it going. So
As Scott Serve said, the day that Julio found out that he was going to be in the bigs and never play in the minors again, don't lose your joy, because I think that's where they're still dancing. The Mariners have a joy about them when they're going right. When they're frustrated, it's on all of them. You can tell it from the top to the bottom. They are all frustrated. You need some good things to happen. I would like it to happen sooner than later. I'd like to be able to just relax the night away and then ride off into like a 8-0 victory. Will it happen? I don't know,
yeah,
but I hope it does.
fingers crossed.
And my fingies are crossed that you'll give us a little follow on the social media. Find me, your boy Coach Red, on Twitter at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red. Also, find us on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, leave a comment or two. While you're at it, follow the podcast page at Coach Red Pod on Twitter and Insta. Also follow me on TikTok at the real Coach Red. Do it. Kane, where you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Kane2406, YouTube at Kane06, TikTok and Kick Kane0624.
And as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.